Okay guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to turn your trash into treasure. We are going to take magazines and junk mail, grocery ads, and I'm going to show you how to make those into a really cool picture. So first off, let me tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need various forms of paper. You can use grocery ads, you can use pieces of magazine, just general junk mail, whatever you want. The more colorful it is, the more fun it will be. As you can see from this here, there's a lot of color variation in it, so I would suggest doing that. You can also, if you really want to get creative, might take more time to do some sort of ombre or color scheme where you're only cutting out certain colors. In addition to that, you're going to need a pair of scissors, some glue, pen or pencil. Actually, pen is better. Some form of cardboard or heavier cardstock paper. So either a thinner cardboard, like a cracker box, cereal box, anything like that. And then you're also going to need, you can either draw something or print something out. This is just a little mountain graphic that I printed out on my computer. And you're going to want it to be approximately the size of a photo, so maybe 4 by 6. This unicorn is a bit taller. I think it's closer to 7 inches. So somewhere in that range. The larger it is, obviously the more paper you're going to need. Okay. Also, I would suggest something on your surface so you don't get glue everywhere. Tablecloth, this is just wax paper, foil, paper bag, newspaper, anything like that. Okay, so to get started, you're going to want to cut strips of your paper that you have. If you use junk mail, it's going to be thinner. It's like, this is like a newspaper base. It's going to be easier to roll. Magazine, some of the magazine pages are rather thick and they will be a little more challenging to roll up, but it's totally doable. So, and sometimes the magazines have prettier colors. So this is a piece out of my Costco magazine that they mail me every month, and it's just an ad. I'm going to use this side because I like all the different colors. What I'm going to do, I was cutting into smaller pieces and rolling it, but it took forever, so now I'm just doing longer rolls and then just cutting it into the appropriate lengths for my project. Okay, so I want this to end up on the outside. I want this to be the last part that I roll, this color right here. So I'm gonna face it down and away from me. And, uh-oh, my glue hardened up because I didn't cover it. Let that be a lesson to us all. Okay. All right. If you store your glue down like you're supposed to, it comes right out. Okay, so put a bunch of glue like so. I run a nice ribbon along the edge here because I really want that last edge to adhere. So you could use tape. The only problem is when you cut these, they could unravel because not all the layers are glued down. So I would recommend digging up some glue. Elmer's glue, washable glue. This is Eileen's craft glue. You get really crazy and use E6000 or something, but that's kind of overkill. Okay. Then you're going to roll it up. What I generally do, you're going to get sticky, by the way. What I generally do is fold it up like so to kind of get it going. And just kind of fold over the smallest amount that you can at first, because your roll is going to get bigger as it gets thicker as you go through. So I just folded that over. That kind of gets it going. And then I just go back and forth. Smaller pieces are going to be easier. If you want to start with a piece that's maybe only that tall, that might be easier for the first couple to kind of get the hang of it. And then you can advance to the longer roll. So I'm just rolling it like so. And if you can roll it as tight as you can, you get a nice, tight, not quite as large and bulky roll. This one is okay, not my best work. I give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, so that's my roll. And this is not really sticking. My cats are literally having a brawl next to me. Go away. Psst. Sorry, there's growling and scratching. Okay, so I just add a little glue there. Put that down. Now it's glued. Okay, so you want to make a bunch of those. You probably would need, I don't know, 5 to 8 of those depending on how much you're doing. So fast forward to the ones I already have done. Okay, then you're gonna take your rolls. So this is what I printed out. I picked a couple of designs and then I ended up deciding on the mountains. Cut it out, like so. And then once you have that, you can take either a piece of cardstock. Cats are literally going at it. Okay, or I used a cereal box. Don't judge, girls got cravings. Okay, anyway, that's what I used. And I just laid it on there, traced around it with my pen, and then cut it out so that this is what I had. Okay, so you've got your thicker cardboard or cardstock shape in whatever shape you want. You're gonna lay that down and you're just gonna start gluing pieces of your rolled paper. Now what I did, instead of taking like big old long pieces and lining them up, because I'm just gonna end up cutting them off anyway, I kind of eyeballed it. I was like, okay, so here, that's about that long. So I'm gonna cut it off, cut maybe a little bit off the end of that, and then glue it down to make it easier for when you actually cut it out. So let's see here, I'll get some pieces. That's gonna need probably like 4-ish, yeah, about 4 more pieces. Okay, so basically put a lot of glue on here. It doesn't need to be dripping off, but you want it to be secure. So, and I just went in sections. So I already did most of this first so you could see. So just cover it in glue. Take your paper, press it down. And what I did, I just lined it up at the bottom so I wouldn't have to cut the bottom off, because you're gonna cut out this shape after you've got it covered in paper. But if you line it up on one straight edge, that's one less place you're gonna have to cut. And then put the next one on. And you can see they're overhanging on the back, which is what we're gonna end up cutting off. And you're gonna, once you get this completely covered, you're gonna wanna let it thoroughly dry. That one's gonna take some effort to stick on that tiny. This is all I have left here is this teeny little corner. So I'm only gonna need like a smidge of paper. So we're just gonna do that. Okay, so here's my shape. I've already cut out part of it. So you can see from the back, this part here, I've already gone through and cut it so you can kind of see what that looks like. And then I'm just gonna follow the Cocoa Pebbles and I'm just gonna cut along to get all these extra shards off. And this is what I end up with, is just these little shards. Okay, so I will show you. I feel like I'm holding that super awkward. It takes a bit because this is thick paper. So it takes kind of a little bit of sawing to get through it. Smaller scissors are actually a little easier because you can get in the cracks and crevices a little easier than these giant ones. But this is what I had handy, so that's what I grabbed. Okay, and I'm just cutting that. When you have a corner like that, it's kind of tricky to cut through it. You can kind of flip it over and look at the front and kind of see where it's not going through. So, oh, hot tip, wait till the glue's dry. So it's falling off this end. So what I would have done is I would have waited till all of this was completely dry like it is on this half before I started cutting, because it's just gonna fall off and it's not gonna be secure. So let's finish this little spot here, and I won't cut any further on this because with this wet glue it's just not gonna cooperate. So you might have to kind of to get it out, or twist it, or cut it. All right. Wow, that's thick. Okay. Oh, and I cut this one here too. Without cutting your fingers. Always keep your fingers out of the way. There we go. Okay. And then you can kind of go back up and trim whatever little shards might still be in there. So obviously something with rounded edges and not as many nooks and crannies is going to be easier to cut. So this elephant, this part would be pretty easy to cut. Once you got into here, it might be a little trickier. So this is almost done. So I will, once all this glue is dry, what I would do is I would go in and just cut this final little edge off. And then I would have a mountain. Now, what do you do with this? You could actually slap a magnet on the back of it. It might be kind of cool and have a giant magnet on your fridge. Or you could glue it onto a board, which this might be kind of cool. You could paint the board a contrasting color. This is just a board, a random board I had downstairs. You could paint it, and then you could, if you're really talented with like writing, you could write, you know, the mountains are calling, or go outside or something, make a sign. You could put little hooks here and make a key hook out of it, or like a little coat rack thing. This is just a board that I just literally staple gunned a piece of rope onto. So you could stick it on there. You could choose to leave it natural wood, or you could paint it. I have a canvas, well, canvas still in the plastic. Put it on a canvas. Again, you could do designing around it. You could do painting behind it. You want to think about what color, because right now it really pops on the white. But if you do it like if you were to do it like maybe like a pale blue or something, it maybe wouldn't pop as much because it would blend with some of these colors. Oh, the cat just stood on this. Okay, also, I have black canvas. Black canvas I really like. It's harder to find. They don't always have all the sizes, but I really like the look of black canvas. You can throw some glitter on there. Glitter's always good. You could do a bulletin board, cork board. So there's a lot of different things that you could do with this. You could spray shellac, like a clear coat. It's just basically in a spray can, and instead of being a color of paint, it's just clear. You could spray that over to really make sure that this is secure and coated. And that's it. So be creative. I'd be curious to see what people come up with. And I would imagine this could take an hour. It might take longer depending if you did a larger design. You could also take these rolls, and if you had, pretend this is a mirror, like has a mirror in the middle and it's just wood on the outside, you could cut a whole bunch to go all the way around the outside of a mirror. Picture frame. You could actually just take this, glue it to a piece of paper or white paper, and just frame it. Just take the glass out of the frame and just frame it. They have frames at Dollar Tree even. So lots of possibilities with this. I would love to see what everybody comes up with. All right, that's it. Over and out.